Good evening, everyone. I'm Laura Ingraham. This is the Ingraham Angle from Washington tonight, my angle in moments. But first, if you think someone's stealing, let's say from your family, would you stand by and do nothing, especially when your family was already in financial trouble? Of course you wouldn't stand by and do nothing. You'd take extraordinary measures to protect your family. Well, that's what President Trump did when he decided to tackle government waste and corruption by unleashing Doge and Elon Musk, who gave a tutorial, by the way, in basic economics from the Oval Office today.
So we've got a $2 trillion deficit, and if we don't do something about this deficit, the country's going bankrupt. I mean, it's really astounding that the interest payments alone on the national debt exceed the Defense Department budget, which is shocking because we spend a lot of money on defense. But if that just keeps going, we're essentially going to bankrupt the country.
In other words, letting the bureaucracy continue to run wild and unaccountable, it's not an option.
So what I really want to say is, it's not optional for us to reduce the federal expenses. It's essential. It's essential for America to remain solvent as a country, and it's essential for America to have the resources necessary to provide things to its citizens and not simply be servicing vast amounts of debt.
But those who profit off the decline of America, they don't care. Because the totally organic protesters descending upon D.C. almost every day that are organized by deep pocket lobbyists and government unions, they're fighting to keep the federal kleptocracy going.
Elon Musk needs to keep his grubby hands, his greedy, grubby hands off of our government.
I wish Article 2 gave us the power to impeach fake presidents, too. Because I'd be putting in articles tomorrow morning to impeach Elon Musk, Donald Trump, and Elon Musk.
No wonder we're in such a mess. These are unserious people. They have zero solutions. They don't care what happens to America. And oh, by the way, it's just typical gutter language. But watching Elon Musk late this afternoon, it was obvious he's unfazed by all of that noise. And in fact, he kind of welcomes the scrutiny.
Your detractors, Mr. Musk,
I have to what?
including a lot of Democrats.
I have detractors?
You do, sir.
I don't believe it.
Say that you're orchestrating a hostile takeover of government and doing it in a non-transparent way. What's your response to that criticism?
Well, first of all, you couldn't ask for a stronger mandate from the public. The public voted. We have a majority of the public voting for President Trump. We won the House. We won the Senate. The people voted for major government reform. In this presidency, they are going to get what they voted for. And that's what democracy is all about.
Of course it is. He's absolutely right. Even Elon's adorable 4-year-old son sitting on his shoulders and standing right next to him can probably grasp that concept. Because President Trump knows his arrangement with Musk is unusual, and it is, let's face it. Giving Elon Musk the floor to speak directly to the American people, it just came off as brilliant.
I fully expect to be scrutinized and get a daily proctology exam, basically. I'll be scrutinized nonstop. But with the support of the president, we can cut the budget deficit in half from $2 trillion to $1 trillion. And then with deregulation, because there's a lot of regulations that don't ultimately serve the public good. We need to free the builders of America to build. And if we do that, and that means if you can get $1 trillion of economic growth and you can cut the budget deficit by $1 trillion, between now and next year, there is no inflation.
And like a great teacher, he explains what that actually means to the average Joe out there.
That's a fantastic scenario for the average American. I mean, imagine they're going down the grocery aisle and the prices from one year to the next are the same, and their mortgage, all their debt payments dropped. How great is that for the average American?
That's great indeed. But did this impromptu Musk tutorial, did it impress any of our favorite media malcontents?
President Trump and first buddy Elon Musk at the Resolute desk in the Oval Office, defending their aggressive efforts to overhaul the government and root out fraud.
There are certain contracts and certain spending at the federal government that Mr. Trump and Mr. Musk don't like. That is what has largely been canceled.
Irony died while he was talking. The only unelected party in any of this is Elon Musk.
All right, joining me now, Texas Congressman Brandon Gill. Congressman, great to see you. The Democrats have been acting like Elon Musk is Satan here, because he's actually doing, frankly, what journalists who care, and frankly, what all of you on Capitol Hill, and you just got to Capitol Hill, I'm not blaming you, but should have been doing all along, which is watching how the money is spent. He's actually doing it, and now he's public enemy number one?
Well, first of all, Laura, thanks for having me on. You know, the hysterics are par for the course for the Democrats. You know, the Democrat Party isn't upset that the federal government is spending hundreds of billions of dollars every single year on wasteful programs and fraudulent programs. What they're upset about is that the waste is finally being exposed. They're like the little kid who's gotten their hand stuck in the cookie jar and they've been caught. What we're finding over the past several weeks is that so much of the left's institutional ecosystem is inorganic. It wouldn't exist were it not for billions of taxpayer dollars every single year funding it. Think about left-wing media, NPR, PBS. We're even paying tax dollars to Politico and the BBC. Think of the left-wing NGOs that we're funding that are facilitating the invasion of our country by illegal aliens, the millions of dollars that are funding transgender surgeries and transgender activism all over the globe. This is what the leftist political movement has been based on, and we're finally calling it out. We're ending these programs, and the left can't handle it.
Well, and of course, Democrats know that this is their power base. This is how they affect the culture. This is how they fund their friends. And that includes subscriptions to various media outlets. Some of them might be legitimate, but the Democrats, so far at least, Congressman, they are refusing to engage on this topic or even work with Republicans much at all. Watch.
There's very little appetite to help Republicans when we don't trust that Donald Trump is going to spend the resources that we've allocated. With Elon Musk and his unelected friends running through and combing through the federal system, we don't have those assurances.
Congressman, your reaction?
Well, I find it funny that the Democrats are obsessed with Elon Musk being unelected. The entire point of the DOGE process is to bring accountability back to the unelected administrative state. Laura, over the past several decades, Congress has abdicated power to a growing bureaucracy that is metastasizing, that is acting against the interests of the American people, against the will of the American people. We are reining that in, first by exposing the waste and the corruption, and then the next step is going to be defunding these agencies or abolishing them outright.
Yeah, Congressman, let me jump in here, though, because Congress can actually do a lot more, and thank God we have someone who's volunteering his time when he's, richest person in the world and has a lot of other things he could be doing, but thank God we have him. But Congress actually could step in, could it not, and amend the Administrative Procedure Act, which is at the heart of a lot of these legal challenges. We're going to get to some of that later on, but Congress can do a lot more to pull back the accountability and pull back authority from these agencies that, frankly, they've delegated an enormous amount of authority to over decades. Before you were even born, this was going on. This has been happening for decades, Congressman.
That's exactly right. It has been happening for decades, and I think that we will be making moves to rein in this on a statutory basis. I'm part of the DOGE subcommittee of the Oversight Committee, and we are getting started very fast. We have a hearing tomorrow where we're going to be going over fraud in Medicare and Medicaid, and that's only the first step. But you're exactly right. We have our work cut out for us. And let me remind you, Laura, that this is an incredibly popular movement from the Republicans. 70% of Americans believe that President Trump is doing what he said he was going to do on the campaign trail. His approval rating is at 53%
Yeah,
right
promises
now,
made.
higher than
Yep.
it was in his first term. Elon
Promises
Musk and the
made.
Doge movement is polling higher than President Biden did in his final week of office. This is what the American people want.
And Congressman, are you the youngest congressman currently serving in the U.S. government? Is that right?
I'm the youngest Republican.
Youngest Republican, and a Dartmouth College graduate. Thank you very much. Brandon, thank you very much. Congressman, we appreciate it.